So I chose this show because I read a statistic that really startled me, and I think the audience would be really surprised by it. So there are 58,000 names on the Vietnam Wall. Only 8 of those names are women. So it would be natural to assume that women really didn't play a big part in Vietnam. But the reality is, 11,000 women voluntarily left their friends and family and the safety of their homes to go to Vietnam to serve the US soldiers. And that's an amazing statistic. And as we come up to the 50th anniversary of the end of the Vietnam War, we're going to start hearing more and more about Vietnam. And I think it's so important that the stories of everyone, including the women, be told.
A Piece of My Heart is about 6 women who decided to go to Vietnam to help out in some capacity, whether it be taking the stress of war off of the men's shoulders or helping them treat their injuries. Many of the women who went over, the harshness and horror of the war was downplayed to them, so they didn't know what they were actually getting into. And a lot of them wanted to do it, specifically my character, Whitney, wanted to do it just so that she could do something with her life before she had to become a teacher. And this, once they got over there, it affected them in many ways that they did not know it would. It really shows how the events that they went through in Vietnam, all the horrors that they had to go through, how it changed them and how it affected them once they got back, because they were not prepared for what was going to happen when they got back.
The show is daunting, honest, and strong because the women are honest, daunting, and strong. And a lot of times in theater and in media, when female characters, when their struggles are written about, they're shown as victims. And these women in this story are victims of violence, of abuse, of any number of negative things that can happen on or off a battlefield. But they are victims in action, but not in emotion. They overcome it in a very human and natural way. We see their panic attacks, we see their grief, we see their rage. And those are things that women face every day. And so when I use words to describe the show like honest and daunting, it's because women are honest and daunting. And I think the show does a really good job of portraying that nuance in the characters.
A Piece of My Heart is exhilarating. I think the audience is going to feel their heart rate start to get going the same way that the characters will. It's an exhilarating performance. The story really picks up, and there are some fast-paced moments. I also think it's very immersive. I think that as soon as people walk in that theater, they are going to get a sense of where they are and what type of a journey they are going to go on. It's also very impactful. It's a very impactful story, and it's hard hitting.
Ooh, so the audience should definitely be prepared to cry. There is no sugarcoating this show. It is based on real events, real people. I'm sure you could look up any one of these characters and find someone that is very similar, if not based upon their experience during Vietnam. You're gonna laugh at some parts. You're gonna be cheering and getting really excited and drawn into it, and then there's gonna be parts where, like the show's name, a piece of your heart is gonna go to these women. It's very heartbreaking at some points, and I feel like those are the most important points to get across through this show.